BT14 is coming a little less than a month now, and I wanted to go over every color and see what we're getting, what's worth it, what are we gonna play, what are we not gonna play, what sucks, and what's actually really good. Of course, we're gonna get started with red. If you don't know, I love playing red. It is one of my main colors to play. Goldramon, right off the bat, this card is duty. Duty? Booty? I don't know why I said duty. This card is booty. Your turn once per turn. When a card is removed from your opponent's security stack, draw one. So this sucks because it's once per turn, right? And as you know, red kind of has a lot of OTK. If they would have kept it your turn and not add that once per turn, this Goldramon would be so good, because red decks sometimes do have problems with, you know, draw power. So honestly, I don't see much play coming from this Goldramon because that once per turn does really cripple it. Wow. But the art looks pretty cool. It's pretty cute. Moving on, BT14 Auman. Digivolve 0 from Goldramon, start of your main phase. If you have a Tamer with tie in its name, this Digimon may digivolve into a Greymon from your hand without paying the cost. That's really cool. Because now I've seen people where they do the Greymon, where if you digivolve, if you have Auman underneath, you gain a memory, because if you have that tie, you're digivolving for free, and then that Greymon gives you one memory. So you gain a memory for digivolving. That's really cool. They inherit your turn while this Digimon has Greymon or Omnimon, which is pretty cool. In its name, it gets 2000 DP. So it does have the inherit of the promo Auman. I do like this Auman starter main phase because I feel like it would help tremendously with building up your stack. Digivolving into a Greymon for free if you're at 3, then you digivolve into, let's say, Metal Greymon with Raid for 3. Now you're at 0. You could potentially go up to a Mega. And then if you go to the new one, which we'll get into, he basically gets a pseudo blitz. We are going to be seeing a lot of gameplay with this Auman, so make sure you do get some copies of this Auman. Moving on, we finally get our first Gizamon. Actually, no, I think we have a blue one if I'm not mistaken. But we get a Gizamon, that's for red. This one attacking once per turn. Delete one of your opponent's Digimon with 3000 DP or less. Maybe down the line with the whole sea animal thing, it'll kind of be a rainbow style kind of deck. And yeah, other than that, it is a good card with the inherit just to help you get rid of pesky board control cards, or floodgate cards as we call them. Good to have a few copies of that one. Up next, we got Gatsumon. Players can play Digimon by effects. Red finally gets one. So we only have, that I know of, correct me if I'm wrong, we have the green Pamumon that you can play Digimon by effects. Red is finally getting some cards that are more tech, and I love this so much. Now, this being in a red deck, are you really gonna see it often? I'm not too sure. Just because red really wants to focus on its build and kind of, for example, with red hybrid, right? I probably would not put this on there because 1, it's not a hybrid. 2, that deck is just focusing on kind of just going OTK. I'll play test and see, throwing 1 or 2 in a few red decks and see the process of how it is. But with the BT14 decks like Lugamon coming out, where you do play Digimon from effects, this could be a game changer for sure. Katakorimon jamming. That's pretty cool. I mean, that's all it has, but it's jamming. It is a giant bird, so I think this could go well with a Phoenixmon deck with the whole bird avian thing in its trait, and then just being jamming is really nuts. We don't really have many red cards that have jamming, if any, I think. This is actually pretty crazy. Red is finally getting jamming. Up next, we got Monochromon. Play cost of 4 and a blocker. Are you going to see gameplay for this? I want to say yes, because this is a source for your Dorbrickmon. It does have Soar and Kilosaur. And being a play cost 4 for a blocker is pretty good. There is no downside. Usually you see these blockers where, you know, they can't attack, or if they attack they lose 2 memory. There's no downside to this Monochromon, so I think you will see gameplay, especially with Dorbrickmon, with this Monochromon. Up next, Greymon. This is a really cool drawing. Play cost of 5, Digivolve 2 from level 3 with Agumon in name, which is, of course, if you don't know, that's very good because now you could Digivolve it on top of any Agumon, even if it is not a color red. When attacking, this Digimon gets 2000 DP for the turn. Then, if you have a Tamer with tie in its name, gain 1 memory. I don't know how good it's gonna be as a when attacking inherit. Maybe if you're playing a Agumon where you really do swing with the champions, but if I'm gonna build up, why would I want to attack with my Greymon? What's good about this is if you want to swing over something, you could swing over a Digimon with 6000 DP or less. Or if you want to clash, you could potentially hit some ultimates that are on the low end of DP, and gaining a memory that could actually come in handy. Just I don't know how often I would really attack to get the 2000 DP and get a memory, unless I have another stack and I want that extra memory to build up and Greymon's already on the field. But what's really cool is that if you do Digivolve for free from the Agumon's effect having a tie, now you gain a memory. Well, you don't gain a memory for this one, but you gain a memory when you attack. So it would put you at 4 if you have a memory set Tamer tie. The inherit is the same as the Agumon. While this Digimon has Greymon Ramimon in its name, it gets 2000 DP. So you will see some gameplay from this Greymon. And it's interesting because now I'm wondering if I could do a black-based Agumon build. And you could use this Greymon since you can Digivolve from that Agumon. So this is interesting. I'm thinking promo black or Greymon, Agumon base. You might be able to do some things here. Up next of our champion lineup, we have a new Triceramon. Start your main phase until the end of the turn when this Digimon will Digivolve into a card with Triceramon in its name, or the dinosaur or Ceratopsian trait reduce the cost by 1. It is starting your main phase though, so as soon as you move them up, you have to Digivolve, and that could potentially backfire in a way if you haven't drawn the ultimate yet and you Digivolve another rookie and now your main phase is over, so you wouldn't get the reduced cost of 1. End of turn, once per turn, if this Digimon has Triceramon in its name or the dinosaur Ceratopsian trait, it may attack. That is nuts. That is so nuts. Rust Triceramon, just because they all cost 4. I think they cost 4, 5 to evil. This is so good. This is just a pseudo blitz. You will definitely need to pick up a few copies of this, especially if you love Triceramon, or just in the future, you just never know what else we're gonna get with that has dinosaur in its trait or Ceratopsian, if I'm even saying that right. But wow, really good card, and then it just makes it so much better that it's a dual color card, red and green. Oh, here we go. Metal Greymon Ace. Hi. Digivolve 3, level 4 with Greymon in its name. It's a hand counter blast Digivolve. So after your opponent is done with their one attacking effects, then you can blast Digivolve for free. On play, when Digivolving, delete one of your opponent's Digimon with 6000 DP or less. I overflow 3. So when this card is sent from the battle area or under your card to other places, lose 3 memory. All I'm saying is they need to start making Greymon like broken. Like as broken as Metal Garurumon, because even though Greymon has the most reprints, not reprints, but like the most support, it's still not broken, and that's crazy. Metal Garurumon, you have, you know, the X antibody, the EX5 coming out, and those are just absolutely busted. We're not there yet. Well, we're just not, and I don't know. This card is good. It's not, you know, it's not, if I run one, I'm probably gonna run 1. I don't see myself running more than 2, but then again, you just never know with these cards. You never know what people can build. Some people are so crazy at deck building, and you know, there's things that you don't see that other people will see, so you just never know. But we're just going based off what we're seeing here. When you drop it for a play cost of 4, which can be good, don't get me wrong. If you're at 3, or if you Digivolve from that into that Greymon, you gain a memory when you attack, then you can play this Metal Greymon Ace for 4. It's still going to be your turn, and now you can Digivolve into the Secret Rare War Greymon, which we'll get to, and then you do get Pseudo Blitz, so that might work for that. Up next, we got Mega Dramon Cyborg, so another card potentially for Machine Dramon. When attacking, once per turn, delete one of your opponent's Digimon with 5000 DP or less. It is a play cost of 6. I'm not really a Machine Dramon player, but if you're able to Digivolve on top of this, which I don't think you are because they're all black for the most part, or red, this is still good because you could drop it for 6 there's no downside of it unless you're gonna give your opponent, you know, 6 memory. But if you're at 3, you could drop the Mega Dramon and now your opponent's at 3, and now next turn you just Digivolve into a Mega. So it's pretty cool. Deleting a 5000 DP or less can come in handy. That's potentially a lot of blockers that you're deleting aside from the Floodgate cards. Moving on, we got the Triceramon with Raid. So we got more Raid support. It is a Ceratopsian, so it is also a card for Dorbrickmon. Can you imagine when they start giving Raid as an inherit? It's gonna be so nuts. Imagine if this Triceramon had Raid as an inherit. Dorbrick would be so nasty. Oh my goodness. So Triceramon, another target for Dorbrick. And then moving on to the level 6s finally, we have Dinorexmon. When Digivolving, you gain Blitz. All turns, when your opponent has 1 or more memory, your opponent can't play Digimon with DP of 6000 or less, and this Digimon gets 4000 DP. The upside of this is if they do want to play a Floodgate card, they have to play it after when they have 0 memory. It's crazy that it's also considered an X antibody. So you're level 5 when you attack, you could, if you have an X antibody underneath, Digivolve into this Dinorexmon. I don't know why you would do that. Cost 3 anyway, but that's pretty cool. This effect is really interesting. I am interested in this, and I will see if I could make something work with this. It's cool that you get all turns 4000 DP, so he's always going to be at 15. But when your opponent is at 0, then you go back to 11. Moving on to Goldramon, really cool. Finally get another Goldramon. And it's cool because it's 4 Great Dragons, so now we're getting a little more support for that archetype. On play or when Digivolving, play 1 Auman of Crimson Flames token, a red Digimon with 6000 DP and Rush, and 1 Auman of Blue Thunder token, a yellow Digimon with 6000 DP and Blocker. Wow, that is really cool. That on play from the Tri-Level Great Dragons will come into effect when you play this Goldramon. Now you'll play 2 tokens. One's going to have Rush, so you can go ahead and attack. Since you're not able to attack with this Goldramon, you'll be able to attack with that token, assuming it's still your turn, of course. But with that Tri-Level Great Dragons, it will be your turn, because obviously you play it by an effect. So it's kind of a pseudo hybrid for game or swinging at something. And then you get a token, a yellow token that's a blocker with 6000 DP. So now you could also protect your Goldramon. Wow, that's actually really cool. All turns, when this Digimon would Digivolve or would leave the battle area, delete all of your Auman of Crimson Flames and Auman of Blue Thunder. If you delete it with this effect, recovery +1. So that's also really cool that you get to recover +1. And if you even only have 1 token, this still works because it just says just delete all of your tokens essentially. And I actually really love that it says when it would leave the battle area, because now cards like Chaos Degradation or putting back on top of the deck or bottom of the deck, that's still leaving the battle area, so you are still able to recover from that. It's actually really nice. It's going to be interesting to see what people do with this Goldramon. Up next, we do have a new Tai Kamiya. 3 costs, start every main phase. One of your Digimon with Vaccine in its trait gets 2000 DP for the turn. I like that they made it for Vaccine and not Dinosaur or, you know, Reptile, because Vaccine is it's a more broad pool of Digimon. So now you could use this with Phoenixmon later on. You could use this with, you know, anything that has Vaccine, of course. Your turn, when a card is removed from your opponent's security stack, by suspending this Tamer, gain 1 memory. Again, they dropped the ball here. Rightfully so. Can you imagine if they said for each time a card is removed, gain 1 memory? That would be so busted. I don't think we're gonna see much play from this Tai. I will be honest. We just have so much better ones out there. We have the one that gives you blocker. We have the one that, well, it's the same one. You gain a memory when you Digivolve. We have the new one that's a memory set Tamer. That when an attack is redirected, you draw 1, you gain DP. So it's just, that Tai is better than this one. Up next, we got a Mega Flame. Finally, it only took 14 sets later. Delete one of your opponent Digimon with 6000 DP or less. If you have a Digimon with Greymon in its name, delete one of your opponent's Digimon with the lowest DP instead. Do you know how broken that can be? Think of All-Force. If they're suspended and they can't use Evade, you have a Greymon. Using the Agumon, right? You have a Tai Kamiya. Start your main phase, you just Digivolve to any Greymon. So you just Digivolve to this one for free. Now you can just use Mega Flame and you just get rid of that All-Force and it doesn't have Evade. assuming of course it's the only Digimon on the field, because it has to be the lowest DP instead. This is very good. We are going to see play with this Mega Flame, probably not like 4 or anything like that, but the fact that it's a play cost of 4 and you could delete a huge stack is just so good. I am actually happy about this option card. Second option, we have Dragon of Courage. Of course, that is a image from the anime when Greymon warps. While you have a Tamer with Tai Kamiya in its name, you may use this card ignoring its color requirements. This is awesome because we have, like I was just talking about, we have the ties that are black. So if you have that one, you could use this card. That's already a plus for this option card. Main effect, by placing one Greymon and one Metal Greymon from your trash as the bottom Digivolution cards of one of your Agumon, that Digimon may Digivolve into War Greymon in your hand, ignoring Digivolution conditions without paying cost. Oh my lord, do you guys know how long I've been waiting to be able to warp? Since BT1, okay? Since BT1. We should have been able to warp BT1. Now I know that's crazy, but my goodness. Security effect, you may play one Agumon from your hand or trash without paying for its card, then add this card to the owner's hand. I love that so much, because now this card is setting you up. It's like, okay, you know what, play an Agumon, here you go, next turn go ahead and play it, and bam, we have a War Greymon just like that. This is awesome. I don't think you'll see like 4 of them in a build, possibly, I don't know. For sure 1 or 2. It's nuts, and then we'll get into it. But with the new War Greymon here, that's gonna come in clutch because you get raid and then you get pseudo blitz. So secret rare BT14 War Greymon, and how beautiful does this artwork look? Digivolve from 4. You could also Digivolve from 4 from a level 5 with Greymon in its name, which is beautiful because we have, for example, the new starter deck Metal Greymon with inherent security attack +1, which I actually really love that card, and you are going to see gameplay from that card itself. While you have a Tamer with Tai in its name and your opponent has a Digimon with 10,000 DP or more, your Agumon may Digivolve into this card from your hand for a Digivolution cost of 4, ignoring Digivolution requirements. And now, in case you can't, because your opponent does not have a Digimon with 10,000 DP or more, that's why you have the option card here. As long as you have a Greymon, Metal Greymon in your trash, now you can warp. So I love that. They did a way where you can do it with the card effect, and a way that you could do it in case you can't do it from his effect. When Digivolving, this Digimon gains raid for the turn. Then this Digimon may attack. This is a pseudo blitz. Digivolving for 4 is obviously a high cost. So even if you're at 3, you go ahead and warp into or from that Agumon, leaving your opponent at 1. Now you can blitz in a sense because it says the Digimon may attack, and then you have raid, so now you could swing over a stack. And if that's not good enough for you, when attacking, if you have a Tamer, this Digimon gains security attack +1 and piercing for the turn. Combine that with the starter deck Metal Greymon, now we got security attack +2. Combine that with the Greymon, the champion one, another security attack, and I got security attack +3. Combine that with the Tai, the OG Tai gives you a security attack, and I got security attack +4. So you're checking 5 cards, and you got piercing, and you got raid. That's so dumb. I love this so much. Ironically enough, you're not going to see much of these War Greymons in a build. You'll see 1, 2, but you're not ever, I don't think, going to see 4 of. I'm going to have to play test and see how it goes, but I've been seeing a lot of builds where they're only running 2. Just that raid War Greymon that we got from BT12, he's just, to this day, I believe he's still probably the best one. Just being able to raid and then unsuspend when, you know, you redirect and then swing again, and then you have reboot when you Digivolve is just so good. I will be doing other videos of the other colors that we're getting, so if you're not subscribed, do me a favor and hit that sub button, like the video, and I'll see you guys in the next video.